we go. Here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. And this is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart, the XRP price chart, obviously, the Altcoin market. We'll take a peek over there at the United States stock market, which is getting set to open here in just 1 minute. A little bit mixed over there in stocks as they get ready to open. We'll look at things like precious metals like gold, maybe silver, and we'll look over there at the United States Dollar Currency Index, or the DXY, which is just out of control at 109. I hope you guys are doing great. Happy Wednesday. It has been 3 weeks since we've done Markets in the Morning. I'm going to probably be a little bit rusty today, and that's just what it is. We try to keep these at about an hour long. I think the biggest fear I had was just that I would say 2024 instead of 2025. So we're off to a good start, and then we're going to remember this early too. Happy Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dude. It is Wednesday,
All right, we're back in action. We're good. No mess ups. We got the mic on. We got audio on. Everything's working all right. So hey guys, it is nice to be back with you. We were off for the last 2 weeks because Wednesday landed on Christmas and Wednesday landed on New Year. So the markets were closed both of those days, and of course holidays. So it's good to be back. This is also the first Markets in the Morning of 2025. Boy, it's just been a lot of sideways. It's been a lot of sideways here for the last couple of weeks. But we'll kind of dive through everything here. Obviously one of the big things we've been talking about over there on the XRP price chart for the last several days as we concluded last week, and then as we started off this week, was kind of anticipating that it would be a dip falling down in here, just kind of patiently waiting for it to happen. Sure enough, it started yesterday. And then if you weren't on Twitter, or I'm sure there's probably 13,000 YouTube videos covering it. What's going on there? What is that? So Brad Garlinghouse tweeted out that him and Stuart Eldorati met with President Trump. So that's interesting. That's got the internet abuzz. That's got, I'm sure, YouTube abuzz today. That's pretty interesting for that to show up in there. So of course, I'm just sitting here anticipating that this range is coming to a conclusion here pretty soon. Really mixed on, from a technical level, right? From a technical perspective, you would still expect it to pull back down in there, but is something going to show up? Is some catalyst going to show up? Maybe that pushes things up. But, just from a technical perspective, you would expect it to get down there. But, we've had a pretty big move. We had liquidations happen throughout the market. So it's just going to kind of be like patiently waiting on that to either see if it does get down there, then, I'll have no problem posting. What do we say? We say impending surge, right? Rocket ships galore, all that stuff. And right now we could be at that point, but it just from a technical thing, you'd expect a little bit lower first, but maybe things get moving quicker. Otherwise, just all the YouTube videos have really covered this, so I don't think there's a whole lot to really talk about this in general. This definitely was not unexpected to see that move down to the downside, but it just stopped at 225. Just you would expect a little bit more. We'll see if it ends up getting it or not. Let's move on along. Let's look at these things, right? Yeah, so just kind of examples, right, too. We were talking about this stuff in here earlier this week, too, that, you would just expect those levels, support levels to come down here and get tested. But we'll see, man. We'll see if things blast their way out. As for the whole market, of course, we've seen a big pullback happen in the whole market. Bitcoin just acting range. Oh my gosh, this is going to be a complicated range happening here for Bitcoin for sure. So Bitcoin's back at 95,000. Total 3 still just waddling up there. Total 2, right? These things are still just waddling around up here near these all-time highs. It's probably just going to be something gets turned on in the whole market all at the same time. These things don't typically happen in isolated events. They tend to happen all together. I've shown that a million times throughout the years, and showed that in just a video a couple of days ago, even to show that the whole move that has happened in here all happened in correlation with the cryptocurrency market in general. So optimistic for the whole thing. It's just kind of a patience waiting game at this point for things to get moving. But boy, we've spent a lot of time talking about ranges and getting to the conclusion of ranges and how fully developed they are, and looked at several different ones to show you how they can look. This is the XRP versus Bitcoin one that we were looking at, right? To show you just how developed these ranges are. We're really right there at the edge of it, and just having to kind of patiently wait on it to see if we can get it. We've been looking at things like versus Ethereum and stuff, and what it looks like when you do the crash, retrace, reaccumulation, finding support on top of the retrace level as your new support level rather than a resistance level. How these things can kind of draw themselves out in here. I think we're just doing that stuff. It's just the ranging stuff before it ultimately gets a bigger move to the upside. As for U.S. stocks, not a whole lot going on here. As if you kick the day off, it looks like NASDAQ is up 16 points, Russell's down 21, Dow is down 109. Stocks have just been all over the place. I think the headline over there on CNBC was about tech sell-off. I think we're just kind of seeing that stuff. I think it's like rotational stuff happening in there again. Talking about how this time is different from past ones. That's why we kind of got these highlighted in here. People always talk about Bitcoin 4-year cycles and in the fantasies of it being block reward halvings, but it's always been in correlation with these things happening in broader markets. This is the first time that the Russell 2000 has not escaped in the 4-year cycle. Again, reiterating that this is likely going to be different this time around on how everything ends up going. We're playing in kind of a different ball game in this time. That at this point, after the election and into the new year, you've had breakouts in the Russell every time. This is the first time we don't have it. So things being a little bit different happening in here. And of course, that DXY telling you too, like 109, like, man, we'll see if this just ends up being a retracement happening in here for the DXY. But in general, markets have held themselves together pretty well with how far this thing has ended up getting. As for gold, there hasn't really been too much of a change happening over here in gold. My thoughts, again, have just been that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back down in here to these support levels, and it's just been dangling here for weeks on end at this point. Of course, the cryptocurrency market took off right here as gold reversed, and kind of just waiting for another leg to show up there over there in gold. But otherwise, as we all know, we've just been kind of sitting here stuck in this range. And I think that's really the story. I don't think there's a whole lot for me to talk about in markets in the morning. That's different than what we've already talked about in the videos, which has been kind of nice that we've been doing a whole lot more videos. We get really the ability to be able to cover all of that stuff rather than having to cover it every day in markets in the morning. But it just feels that there's not just feels, but just technically speaking, we're right here at the very end of this range, waiting for something to break. And we'll see if it ends up being a news catalyst. I had tweeted was it Friday or was it Thursday that I tweeted it? Last Friday, that it would be very simulation-ish for something to happen on Tuesday. And so we do get our fall on Tuesday. We do end up getting this thing posted over here. But you know what was really going through my head? I was like, I bet, man, you think it'll be this? What if I don't want to do it. I don't want to say it. The SEC stuff, if it just can kind of wash its hands of itself here in a minute. If I was Gary Gensler and I was about to step down, and then if I saw something like that come out, I would be thinking to myself, you know what? We're not going to get a penny out of these guys if we don't just kind of accept what's already happened here right now. That's what would be going through my mind if I was him. So I don't know. We'll see. But either way, I'm pretty excited. I think we're there. I just the definite difficult part for me right now is, do we still have that, or are we past that? We're ready for that. I think that's just kind of where I'm at right now on waiting on this thing. I think we've gotten a dip, but I'm not certain that's quite enough. But we'll end up seeing. Otherwise, I think it's just a super complicated structure over here on Bitcoin. As we saw it get back close to retracement levels, not quite there. So this does open that door now, where if we start doing something like this, and then we get back here again, and then that time we do see this happen over here in the altcoin market, that does change the picture, right? So like we talked about it on Monday, it was kind of like, looking for the warning signs to be showing up in the whole cryptocurrency market right there, that we're not flashing them, right? Now, in the event that it went back here and then it did that, then it would be the warning signs happening in there. So it's just going to be kind of waiting on this thing to develop in here for Bitcoin. But I'm really not concerned about the altcoin market at this point. So, all right, I think that covers everything going on in here. Getting near the end of these ranges, is there one more little tiny flush to happen in here to get it into the two teens? We'll see. Or can we go ahead and kickstart things and get the show on the road? Otherwise, everything's still just kind of developing along as we would expect. Anything else to cover in here right now? I don't think so. I think we just move on over to my favorite segment of the show, news. All right, CoinDesk. Like literally, okay, this is no joke. It's the first time I'm looking at the news since the last markets in the morning. I don't ever look at this stuff. All right, Crypto Daybook. America's inflation worry crushes Bitcoin bulls ahead of FOMC. Sapien, is AI work the future of the gig economy? Dogecoin slumps 10% amid Bitcoin slide to 96K. Nation-state central banks are expected to buy Bitcoin in 2025, says Fidelity Digital Assets. XRP ETF could soon be a reality, Ripple president says, as RLUSD gains traction. Hyperliquid responds to scrutiny over lack of decentralization. Hype slumps 15%. Key market dynamic that greased Bitcoin in the SPX rally after the U.S. election is shifting. MicroStrategy's trading volume rivals that of the top 7 U.S. tech stocks, and Bitcoin price rally could be accelerated by China's market meltdown. Okay. Gemini agrees to pay $5 million settlement in CFTC case. So I don't know how you get any alpha from any of that. You know what I mean? Like, what did I learn there? All right. Well, U.S. Fed money printing could spur Bitcoin rally in Q1 of 2025. Trump dump risks pulling Bitcoin price down to 88K. We're calling it the Trump dump, huh? Okay. Earn crypto for 2025 gaming predictions. 50 million monthly gamers incoming. I just feel CoinDesk has some, like, they always cover this gaming stuff. It feels weird, like it's all paid for. How Hyperliquid's insanely lucrative airdrop launch changed the game. Nation state Bitcoin adoption to drive crypto growth in 2025. Trader turns 2K into 3.2 million. Right. Like, I do want to reiterate, like, all these narratives of nation states buying and all that stuff. Like, we always have these different narratives when we get deep into a bull run, right? Back in 2021, which the peak of the market was in April, right? Bitcoin, the peak April. We're 3 months away from being a 4-year cycle on Bitcoin, right? 3 months away. What was it then, right? Companies were adding it to their balance sheet. This time it's nation states are adding it to their balance sheet, right? So, like, if you think for a second, you're front running nation states, like, just, you know what I'm saying? All right. Trader turns 2K into 3.2 million in 10 hours on Metaverse token. See, these are always the meme stuff. These are always the ones that hit we see these all the time. All right, crypto ETPs start 2025 with $585 million of inflows. Crypto bull market entering its final stage. Yeah, that would make sense to me. That sounds reasonable. Bitcoin debasement trade is here to stay. KULR Technology predicts a $200,000 Bitcoin price after buying the $97,000 dip. Okay. Well, there we go. That is your news for the day, everybody. Oh, wait. What's going on in the main stuff? Stocks are little changes. Wall Street struggles to recover from the sell-off. Okay. Quantum stocks like Rigetti plunge after NVIDIA's Huang says the computers are 15 to 30 years away. Okay. Private sector companies added 122,000 jobs in December, which is less than expected, and Trump could declare national economic emergency to justify universal tariffs, CNN reports. Yeah, okay. That's your news. So, happy Wednesday, everybody. There's not a lot to cover in the markets that are much changed in regards to what we've seen. You know it. I know it. We all know it. We've been in a range since the beginning of December. And the big thing is just can this range come to a conclusion here in the next couple of days? My thoughts are it will. And patiently awaiting that. Then, of course, we have a tremendous amount to talk about. But till then, it's just kind of a patience game here in the cryptocurrency market. Will it be a catalyst? That's a big thing. Will a catalyst arrive in markets? Could. So, all right, that's it. I'll give you you guys the frog one more time, and then I'm just going to hop into the chat, and we're going to keep it pretty light, tight, and bright here for a Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dude. It is Wednesday, dudes.
All right, there we go. Chat time. There was a question about silver in there. I think it was the first one that came through. I'm excited about silver. Says, I've heard you talk about, Bradley, thank you for the super chat. He says, I've heard you talk about silver a few times over the years, and I'd love to learn more. Do you strictly buy physical silver? Where can we sell silver? Any information would be greatly appreciated. Well, you could buy, you could buy ETFs, you could buy SLV, you could buy physical. If you're wanting to buy physical, there's a learning curve to doing it, because when you buy silver, like if you buy something like SLV, ETF, you're pretty much just going to pay what spot is, right? And then you can buy it and sell it and in and out and it's over. But if you're buying physical metals, you're dealing with premium spreads. So you're going to pay over premium when you buy it. And then you're going to pay over spot when you buy it. And then you likely are going to get back of spot or below spot when you sell it. There's plenty of websites and online dealers where you can buy silver at. A lot of those online dealers will also buy it back from you. And so, to figure out which ones are reputable can be a learning curve. I have some that I've used that had no problem. When it comes to shopping, a website that I've used a lot is findbullionprices.com. I'm not sponsored by them. I've made YouTube videos about it. If you want to just search blockchain backer buying silver, they're like my worst performing videos I ever put out because people don't care because they're here for crypto, right? But this is where you can go compare prices between the online dealers and you can get kind of an idea of what you should be paying for stuff. Most new people come into this market and feel like the only thing they can buy is, I got to buy American Silver Eagles. It's the highest premium stuff. You're going to pay the most for it. It's definitely not my cup of tea to do that. But you can find out what prices are and compare stuff and get a ballpark idea. Also, if you Google, you probably have a coin shop in your area. So, or if you live in a very rural area, you might not have one to be able to buy stuff at. But coin shops will buy and sell. So, you can buy it from them. You can sell it back to them. And of course, this is for Americans. Unfortunately, if you're not in America, I don't know how it works in your country or how you can do that. But probably similar. There's probably online dealers where you live, and there's probably physical shops as well. So probably looking up physical shops. But yeah, the physical shops will buy it back from you. The online dealers will buy it back from you too. And it's just whether or not you want to deal with the physical stuff or you want to deal with ETFs. All right, Rob Jamo, can you chart Ethereum from the final retracement prior to capitulation to the 4.236 for this cycle, like you did in yesterday's XRP video? Can you chart Ethereum from the final? Oh, one thing too, guys, if we're getting, please don't turn this into, I love you. I appreciate the super chats. They're fantastic. It's wonderful. I appreciate the support. But sometimes we'll get all kinds of questions for random altcoins. Ethereum is the second largest coin, so I'm going to do this one. But like when we start getting down the list and stuff like that, people do super chats. They ask me to cover coins, and it's not me being a jerk, not wanting to do it. It's just there's 3,000 people in here. Somebody will donate $1.99 and ask for their coin to be reviewed, and then I'm like, nah, I can't do it. And then it's like, oh, well, I gave you $2, man. Like, then you should not do it. Like, save your money. Don't do it. I'm appreciative of super chats, but save your money. Don't do it. Having a hard time understanding your question here. You said, can you chart Ethereum from the final retracement prior? Oh, you're talking about the rally prior to capitulation. Yeah, that would be way down here. See, here's my problem with Ethereum. Like, I want to believe in that kind of stuff for Ethereum. I do, especially like, let's go to Bitstamp. Here we go. Especially I want to believe in like super cycle stuff for Ethereum too, because the entire rally that happened for Ethereum was precisely the size of the first rally back in 2016, then leading to the 2017 charge that ended up happening. I want to believe in this. Here's my problem. If that's all this market's going to dish up here, how do you get that to happen in Ethereum? I don't know. That's the struggle I have with for being like massive numbers for Ethereum, because the market cap is already gigantic, right? So in a situation of the rally prior to capitulation, which of course is that one right there, that puts you at nearly $50,000. But I mean, run the market cap for it. What would the market cap of Ethereum be at $50,000? Well, the market cap currently right now is $404 billion. What are we talking about? Like a $4 to $5 trillion market cap for Ethereum. I struggle with it due to this is what I see happening in the market. So like XRP, when we're talking about getting to like $9 or $10, are we talking about an outrageous level or an outrageous market cap for XRP? No. We're talking about simply merely nearly what Ethereum currently is right now. In order for Ethereum to do something like that, it's got to go to like 4 to 5 trillion. It's hard to see it with how late stage we are. But, we'll monitor it as it goes. But boy, it's just, I don't know how it's going to get any type of major we would have to see the most epic rally in crypto. Like everything will have to be wrong, right? Like, nope, this is not the ending. This is just the beginning of just something absolutely insane. It would not have to, that's what it would have to be. It would have to be like, no, all this stuff is wrong about this stuff, and that this isn't different. It's more of like setting up for the most biggest epic thing in the history of the universe. But I don't think that's what's happening. I lean much more on that. It's really something along these lines. That the parabola comes in and just Ethereum. How are you going to do it at this stage in the game? I'm not sure. Robert Barker, hey BCB, is there an XRP over ADA chart? How does it also? If so, how does it look? ADA seems very good value versus XRP. Currently, giving price targets are very similar for both. a trade to some ADA seems logical to me. Question mark? Thanks. Well, you're asking me to tell you what to do. Like, should you sell your XRP and get ADA? I don't know. I own both, right? As for like charting XRP versus ADA, I definitely don't do that. I don't know if anybody's out there trading particularly that. I don't know. I don't know if the ratio matters right now. I mean, like both of them could go, right? But what if one goes before the other, right? Then you're like, no! And I don't know the order of operations of how it would go. But thank you, Robert. And thank you, Rob. Dale McCrory, new member, welcome. Prashant, new member, welcome. Jaxer, member for 19 months. Morning, dudes. Happy Frog Day. So backed my car into a pole the other day. Just checking if the Mercedes Benz. Oh boy. Here we go. That's right. Markets in the morning. Welcome back. Jaxer, thank you. JJ Jacob. Bitcoin at 95K. Others on the brink of expansion. Still top 100 coins like Dot Atom or multiple at FTX prices. Is this time different? Well, it may just, it's probably going to end up being, there's going to end up being a lot of stuff like 2021, where some stuff is nothing more than retracements and some stuff goes into expansions, right? Which was like 10% of the market in 2021. Probably going to be similar to that here in 2025. Jonas Fugalis, member for 18 months. I'm happy to have this journey with you all. Thank you, BCB. Jonas, thank you. Dale Edge says, love the video yesterday. I felt like a real OG when you talked about the rally before capitulation. That feels like a lifetime ago. Let us go. Yeah, I didn't know who would remember that. It's hard to know because like when I conducted a poll here in Markets in the Morning like 8 months ago, I asked, how many of you were here before 2021? And it was only like 1/3 of people. And so anybody recalling rally prior to capitulation, you would have to be an OG. You would have to be before the 2021 insanity, right? And so like I was like, most of these people watching this are going to think I'm crazy when I talk about this. It's only going to be that like 1/6 of the audience watching that's going to remember that. Thank you. Bassem, do you recommend trading altcoins versus Bitcoin pair rather than USDT? And is there any criteria? Well, it just depends on what you think Bitcoin's going to do. Do you think Bitcoin's going to be going massively higher? If not, if you think Bitcoin's in distribution, which is very possible, where are you, Bitcoin? Right there. Right? If you think Bitcoin's going to do this stuff and go into a long, multi-month distribution in here, do you care about trading for Bitcoin or do you care about trading for dollars? Right? And then if the 4-year cycle comes to an end, and then, a real 702 retracement happens over here or something, and that's it. Well, why were you trading versus Bitcoin the whole time, right? So if your thesis is this isn't distribution and your thesis is it's going to go way higher, go for it. Do whatever you want. But I personally don't spend much time trading or paying attention to it versus the altcoin versus Bitcoin. Like in this circumstance, I think this is one of the few times we actually are getting to look at XRP and use that as a reference point and as a confluence factor. Otherwise, I just don't spend much time paying attention to it. But to each their own. There's probably people out there who are specialties at this. For me, it's not. I found way too much confluence versus dollars than versus actual Bitcoin price. Now, if you find confluence, if you're at a US dollar level and if you're at a actual level on the Bitcoin pairing, it may give you some confluence, but it's not for me, but I'm not saying it's not the right thing to do. Jonas Fugalis, I'm happy to have this journey with you all. Thank you, BCB. I'm falling behind here. Okay, there we go. Did I skip anybody? I want to make sure I didn't. Okay. Thank you, Bassem. Mo419, can you see where the 4.236 is for ADA for price target if you're going off market cap? So this is borderline cover my altcoin. But you could figure that out yourself, Mo. Like, this is something you should be able to do on your own, brother. If you're in this market, this shouldn't be something you have to ask me to do. Like, just to be straight with you, bro. Right? It looks like we've even covered this in markets in the morning before. Right? If you went a 4.236 extension of this range, it's 1,000% to get all the way up there to a 4.236 extension for ADA. So like 10x from current price. All right, what is the current price? 97 cents. It's like $10. Market caps are going to be primary focus for me. Not that I want them to be. It's just that we've seen the market react to them, right? Everybody can sit there and argue till you're, blue in the face. Market caps don't matter. It doesn't matter. I see it on Twitter all the time. Really? If they don't? I'm not directing this frustration at you, Mo. If you think that they don't, then why do they? Why do they react to them? Right? Why, in the video yesterday that I showed, right? We're doing the XRP video and we're showing the rally prior to capitulation and the tweet that I was talking about. Why did the entire market cap of the entire cryptocurrency market hit the 4.236 extension at the exact same time that Bitcoin hit the 702? If the market cap doesn't matter, why did Ethereum's market cap for its top matter? Why did Bitcoin's market cap for its top matter in 2021? It's not that I want to. It's just that we've seen too many things happen with them that they have to be paid attention to. And if anybody argues anything differently, that they don't matter, then that person is just like completely dismissing that they have mattered. So, in my opinion, you're taking a huge risk by not paying attention to the market cap because they've been reactionary. John Lively, odds we wait until after the inauguration for the move up? I doubt it. I don't think so. I don't think we have to wait 12 days. No. Not just, you could see it for yourself. It's just fully developed ranges in here, right? It would have to be very odd for the range to continue further. I would just think the range would be completed way before that. Crypto Lolic. Hey, mate, what is this fractal from XRP? I couldn't find it for everything. Last Substack newsletter was awesome. Thank you very much. Member for 19 months. This isn't a XRP fractal. This is just a Bitcoin continuation range. This is just an example of what a range can look like. This is taken from Bitcoin in 2023, 2024. Just an example of a range. This is not XRP. John Duff. Hey, BCB. First target setting on alts that set new highs in 2021. Are you using fibs pull from 2020 high to bear low or March to August? It depends. A lot of them depend on how strong they're reacting. Things are going to be looking. I'm going to be looking for with Confluence. I genuinely believe, because this market has done it before, the sign is going to come from the market cap of the cryptocurrency market. And then it's going to be Confluence factors at that time. It's going to be like, first of all, this is the primary. So this one right here for the total market cap of the altcoin market, when it gets way up there, that's the take action. If we get there, that's my take action level, big time. Whether or not individual altcoins are doing this or they're doing this whole thing at that time, it's just going to just depend on what's going on in the market at that exact moment. Probably a lot of them, it's just going to be this, if even. But I think some will get to do the full range, and it's not going to be one size fits all. And I say that because that's what happened in 2021, is that only 10% went into new highs. A lot of stuff only did retraces. Some stuff did dismal retraces of 50%. Some stuff did full 702s and 786 retraces. Some things touched their all-time highs, like Litecoin and Monero, and they did that, and then it was over. That's all they got. And then some stuff goes breaking into highs. Personally, for me, when this gets here, it's just primarily my take action level. If an altcoin before this happens does a 4.236 extension of that whole 2021 to 2024 range, that'll be an individual circumstance where I will take action regardless of where this is at. I think this range is going to matter, and that extension range is going to matter the most probably in this market, and that's just speculation, but I think this extension will matter more for most coins in the crypto market. But as we get there, we'll tighten up the ship, analyze it, and see, is that what's happening? Spencer Goulmain. The fall in Bitcoin from all-time high looks like Wyckoff accumulation, and it's in spring phase now. Yeah, it could. Where did I have an example of this? I'll try to refind it and put it in a video tomorrow. Right, so your argument is selling climax, right? Automatic rally, secondary test in phase B, and you're in spring, right? I had a tighter example of it earlier. I'll see if I can find it for tomorrow. And well, you know, even this, right? Like it is like in yesterday's video, I was pulling out the Wyckoff accumulation schematics, right? That's all this time period right here, right? December 20th, right? That's your secondary test in phase B, and then you're heading down into LPS or into spring. Like I said yesterday, I was like, man, I think this is probably more LPS, and you can see over here in Bitcoin, it looks more spring, right? So it's possible. Baby Oscar Hernandez. It's been a while. Goo goo gaga, amigos. Where is me padre Oscar? Yeah, there he is. I see him in the chat. He's here. Nicholas Loon. With yesterday's dip, most altcoins revisited breakout levels while XRP held strong. Do you think this is enough of the dip you anticipated? So you asked that quite a while ago. That question was asked about 30 minutes ago. I think I've pretty much answered that. I, from a technical perspective, you would have expected down here. Like you just would have expected that level right there. But, you know, maybe not, right? Just like there's something. If I was just being strictly technical, I would have thought we would have gotten lower, but at the same time, we could just be on the brink of things turning their way around. I'm going to remain real indecisive on that. I tried to remain pretty steadfast on the idea, even starting back in here on Thursday and Friday, talking about that there would become a dip. We got one. It's held up somehow really well. Technical level, you would expect it to come down in here, but I'm not going to put my marbles on it that it is going to, just because I think we're close, man, for something big coming. But just do not be shocked if that happens. Just don't be shocked. I'm going to have to play the hedge game with my words here at this moment. Stayed with the conviction that we'd get the dip. I have to kind of hedge myself a little bit on this one. Do we have that little bit more to go? We might, but I just wouldn't also be shocked for it to actually get going at this point too. Philip Mann gifted 5 BCB memberships. Brother, thank you. And Nicholas, thank you. Philip, thanks, man. I get it. All right. There we go. JB Heavy Equipment Services says, morning BCB. I know you don't care to cover random alts, but I remember you saying that TIA had the same structure as SWE a while back. Is it still on track? No, absolutely not. TIA has been one of the worst performers. No. Yeah, I bought 20 coins. TIA is by far the worst one that I've got. So obviously, SWE is like the leader of the whole world. No, not really. But SWE has been one of the best performers, right? TIA has been one of the worst. Xenogen, which exchanges are you using as off-ramps? Which high-yield savings accounts will you use to store your cold, hard cash? I love you. Good Wednesday, dude. First of all, I don't ever promote exchanges. Exchanges approach me all the time, especially those trade on leverage. They pay influencers the highest amount, the leverage exchanges. But I've been in crypto long enough, okay, that exchanges will come and go. And I'm not just talking about situations like FTX. I've watched, the exchanges we all used in 2017. Can't use any of them here in America anymore except for Coinbase, right? You can't use Poloniex, Bittrex, Bitfinex, right? None of them. Even other exchanges that you could use just 4 years ago, you can't use in the United States anymore, like KuCoin or MEXC, right? So I don't ever recommend exchanges because I don't know what their life is going to be. Their life expectancy is going to be. So you need to do your own research on what exchanges you want to use. As for high yield savings accounts, you could just Google it and find out what banks have what interest rates right now. And so you can go find out which ones they are. And there's plenty of them out there that offer over 4%. So whatever bank's close to you, there's a physical branch close to you, go for it. But I do always dodge the exchange, what exchange question. And then when it comes to the savings account stuff, just Google the rates and then, whatever bank's near you, whatever you're comfortable with. Thank you. Oscar Hernandez. My brother, gifted a membership. Thank you, sir. BT7274. I'm one of the few that love your Boolean videos. Thank you. Underneath the surface, like genuinely, underneath the surface, there's certainly that same passion for precious metals as crypto. We just don't get to talk about it as much on here. But no doubt about it, in my spare time, I'm every week, many times every week, I'm over there looking at the Boolean websites. It's just the news cycle of precious metals is absurdly boring. Absurdly. Like, look at this bar in my hand. It's amazing. And that's all there is when it comes to metal. All right. Oscar, hit the like. Wing Wednesday. Man, some wings sound good. Again, if you're not barbecuing wings, I don't know what to tell you. Here you go. Quick barbecue wing recipe. Real fast. Real fast. One, only get the flats. Who eats the drumsticks? You're mad. Flats only. All the way. Two, go buy them at the grocery store. Bring them home. Wash them off. Put them on a paper towel. Dry them down completely. Then smother them in lemon pepper. Turn your grill on. Get all of your grills on to medium. Throw all the wings on there. Cook them 5 minutes on each side for 20 minutes. Then, spend like 3 or 4 minutes just kind of shuffling them all around the place and making sure that all of them got some crisp on them. Eat those. Better than anything you'll get at a restaurant. Okay. Steaks at 135. Then we get the steaks at 135 right after. Let's go. BCB, do you plan on selling using a cold storage DEX or sending to a centralized exchange to sell? There are upsides and downsides to both. How would you think through and process that? Thanks. When it comes to transactions, I do try to think in the manner of taxes. And I do have an accountant. We do go through everything. And I try to think of things of what is it going to be like the moment I sit down with my accountant and we go through my tax and we go through all my stuff. So for each person, it's their own thing, right? It's up to you. It's up to you. I don't think there's a right answer on that, man. I think that's just whether or not you want to keep your stuff off of the exchanges or you want to do your stuff on the exchanges. And then on a DEX, how much slippage are you going to experience? I don't know. I think that's a personal question, brother. I don't know. I don't know what the right one for anybody is. Out of pocket. Still think ETH will lead the charge. Price, but no, clearly Ethereum's not leading the charge. We had the whole market rip and Ethereum never even got out. So we'll see. JJ Jacob, do you think take fibs on others or 4 hour or daily? Yeah, because the others charts are broke. All of these market caps are broken. You could just go use CoinTrader Pro. All right, so here's this question. Let's make sure I'm not going to lose anything serious here. I'm not. Okay. This is a problem with TradingView. You can clearly see I'm right on the money there on that, right? I'm right on the money there with that, right? Let's switch this to the 4 hour view. Suddenly I'm not on the money anymore. I've missed, right? I'm way off. I'm not even touching anymore. And over here, I'm not even touching down here anymore. That's your question, right? I would, going to try to get real precise on it, probably going with CoinTrader Pro, which is a free website, guys. That's just because it's got the word pro in it doesn't mean anything. Corey says XRP is already 2 months into a bull run. Is there only 1 month left? I think it's crazy for people to think in the mindset that we aren't in the final months of this thing. Whether it's 1 month, I don't know. But what will happen, what I already see happening out there, we talked about this plenty of times, that we can sit here and spend 5 years talking about $10 for XRP, and we can spend those 10 years with thousands and thousands of haters and thousands of trash talkers saying it'll never happen. And then once we finally get up into these areas, what's going to happen? It's going to be that I've told you that story a million times about Bitcoin, that when we went through C19 and Bitcoin was like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, I'm like, 4.236 extension, $70,000, $80,000. People are saying you're irresponsible. There's no way. We're all wearing masks. We're putting hand sanitizer on our hands. There's 25% unemployment. Bitcoin will never get there. And then when we got there, the masses turned violently angry at the idea that we weren't going to keep going higher. How dumb can you be? They're adding it. Tesla's adding it to their balance sheet. Nations, El Salvador is adopting Bitcoin, right? It was like the narrative changes to where people get violently angry at the idea that it's the top, even though like you've talked about it for years. And you can already start to see that happening with XRP a little bit. Somebody on Twitter yesterday came up with a conspiracy theory that I'm like part of the banking cartel. And I am like, my job, what is to come on here and create YouTube videos for the last 6 years. And I'm designed to get you retail to sell all your XRP at $10. And then it's going to blast to $10,000. And I was hired to come and get you to sell all your XRP at $10. That stuff is going to happen, man. Dude, like, it's insane, right? So, like, yeah. Anyway, that's going to happen, right? Like, we get up there, everybody's going to think it's higher. It's going to be violently angry at the idea that it could be a peak because a lot of people are going to pile in. Right? So, but to think it's not like we're late stage, it is late stage. Even if you're a 4-year cycle believer, right? 4-year cycle. The top was April and May of 2021. You are now in January of 2025, right? You're 3 to 4 months away from being a 4-year cycle of where the technical top and the on-chain top of the market was, right? So just keeping it that, keeping it in mind. Blaine. I invested $10,000 3 days before the lawsuit. Ouch. And your videos that kept me in it all these years and then buying more the whole time. Emotional control is the key. Well, congratulations to you, Blaine. Pedro Bilt, do you think the SEC settlement may cause a further downside before the bull run kicks in? I don't know. I don't know why settlement would cause downside, but it's going to probably be a whole market turn on at the same time. It's not an isolated event. Even if like we did get a settlement, like genuinely, even if you did get a settlement, just because finally the chapter is closed, even if it popped up, if the whole altcoin market didn't come with it, this would probably still be like a July of 2023 thing, right? And then it comes back down here and then it ranges and stuff like that, right? Like we saw in July of 2023 when XRP declared not a security. Have I gone too far? There you go, right? It still came back afterwards, right? So we need a whole market lift off, likely, not just an isolated event. But I do not know why that would cause downside action if that happened. All right. Mo419, are you still planning 702 crew meetup after the cycle? Dude, it's been like so off my mind of it happening. If we get it, we're all like, if I get an opportunity to make a big fat sell, sure. Sure. Maybe it'd be like a cruise. Everybody gets their own cabin or something. All right, CSS, does the current level of crypto hype worry you? No, see, I don't see the hype, man. I don't see the hype. Because I've been in here long enough, I know when it's like really carried away. And I just don't see it. Armday says, has your exit targets for Litecoin and Zcash changed due to inflation and rotation of eyes and developers? Could you also go over them one more time? I need some kind of reminders and hope. I'm not going to go over altcoins, individual altcoins. That's what I talked about earlier. But I think both of them are probably going to end up just being a watch what the whole market, watch what the altcoin market is doing at this time. Like if this thing does this and then it gets some clean defined 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or if that's even really hard to identify that there is a clean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of times what we look for, and like I've already kind of planned it in my mind of like what I'll be tweeting, what I'll be saying is when the warning shot gets fired. That, you know, this could come up and these could be hard to identify, and then boom, a warning shot gets fired in the market, and then that's it. That's how the end comes. So if it clearly defines stuff, I'm just gonna have to bet on it that it's gonna have to be a market wide thing for those, because this market changed in 2021. It was not an everything goes market. It was not a everything in the top 10 goes market. And I have to, in my mind, say that is certainly possible, that it will not be an everything goes market, because it wasn't in 2021. If those things hit like 4.236 extensions, by all means, adios. I'll let go of them. Otherwise, it's probably going to end up being something like that. Oscar Hernandez, BCB, do market caps matter more than PTW? Ooh, of course not. You're going to get me killed, dude. All right. Sebastian Barros, hey, BCB, Bitcoin looks like 2017 top, where it did an ABC with A wave almost to the 7. Yeah, I know. That too, right? Yeah, believe me, I've been looking at that too. There you go, right? So this is why we're talking about, I talked about this much earlier in the stream. Being like, now, is this it right here? Yeah, there it is right there. Now, if you did start doing something like that, while the market cap of the altcoin market did that, now you suddenly do have those things to worry about, right? Because we talked about it on Monday. You're not seeing that dynamic in the altcoin market right here. Now, if it shows up in here, where this thing does go roaring, while Bitcoin's only doing that, you suddenly do have the dynamic. And like he's talking about, this would look like 2017, that this is an A, B, C back to the 702. Let's see if we can do this. Difference is, this is a massive sell-off. So this is 50% of a fall. This is just a baby. This is 108 to 92. It's not even 16%. But anyway, this is what he's saying. How you fire up and you get just above the 618 retracement, pull it back down below the 236, altcoin market rampaging into that, right? So if that dynamic showed up in here, is what he's kind of referring to in here, then we'd be watching out for those warning signs. I think it's going to just be complex distribution, but we'll look for the dynamic. I mean, that things would, we could just be humming along and everything is chilling, and then suddenly in a 3-day period, it's kind of like, wait a minute, things are now happening. This thing's rampaging. The altcoin market is rampaging. This has been happening, and suddenly Bitcoin's back in here. Wait a minute, all the warning signs are flashing, right? It's nothing like that right now. And I'd be talking about it in videos leading up to it. It's not something that would catch us in a one-day surprise or anything like that. But yeah. Wolf of Willow Street says, I've been here since 2020 watching your videos. This is my first comment. Wow. Welcome. Just one of the lurkers. Thank you. Mike Goncalves, BCB. What's going on with Ethereum? How do you see it playing out? Do you see it underperforming this bull run because of all the XRP attention? It may underperform. We've already kind of covered Ethereum, so this may have been way before that. This comment may have been way before that. Ethereum has done nothing, which has been interesting. Jeff Willems, do you own any of these two altcoins? They look ready to me. They're listing on American exchanges soon. I do not. Thank you for the super chat. Flying Sean, yo, BCB, we're mostly using the price chart for the discussion of XRP targets, rally prior to capitulation. I specifically brought up the market cap in yesterday's video, but okay. Wasn't the lesson in 2021 that we should mainly be charting based on the market cap? Right. So I brought that up. Go rewatch yesterday's video. Flying Sean, yeah, like you're taking substantial risk, in my opinion, personal opinion of a dingus on the internet. If you're going beyond the 4.236 extension of the market cap, substantial risk. Turner Kirk, thank you, brother. Turner Kirk, hey BCB, any thoughts on the possible impact of unemployment report on Friday? If it's a catalyst to the downside in TradeFi, will that affect crypto? You know, any type of major catalyst that happens in stocks, it tends to impact crypto. We did get unemployment data today, or continuing jobless claims. There was nothing dramatic in that. Ooh, XP Market, gifted 10, thank you. Look at all those names turning green. I don't think there's been any alarming signs on unemployment, at least in the data coming out prior to that. And it's also one of these things too. Like, we are in such a weird environment in markets that bad is good and good is bad, right? So if unemployment data goes up, then what? Fed will cut? I don't know. Right now, the market has it priced in with a 95% probability that the Fed is not going to be cutting at their next meeting in 21 days. Unemployment goes up. Oh, well, then the Fed's going to cut. Then does the market rally into that? Right? So it's been a weird dynamic on all that stuff. So hard to know. Moxie Girl Friday. We love you and PTW. For those of you who purchased the course, would be willing to update the spreadsheet to reflect all-time highs using market caps? Maybe. Thank you, brother. I'll think about it. Out of pocket. Bro, don't wash your chicken. That's crazy. You got kids. What? All right, Eric. Market order, limit or trailing stop? Thanks. That's a personal preference on how you want to handle things if you're in an epic rally. For example, if you're identifying that you're in final waves, do you want to try to perfectly set the peak, or do you want to just set trailing stops and then you get taken out? Or you wait for a bigger move on like a daily time frame, and then you're doing it like that. And then you're just cool with it, of being like, you know what? I didn't get the peak, but I think I've got confirmation enough to tell me the trend has changed here. So that's it. That's where everything goes goodbye. Whatever you can emotionally handle. Sean H. Is BCH dead? Maybe. I just don't know anything being used for, right? Yeah. Then again, I'm not like following BCH, right? So the metrics I'm always paying attention to now is where is the user activity levels, where's the development activity at, and when it's on my list. So when people bring up all these random coins and stuff like that, and they're like, you're missing out on this epically thing going on here. And I'm like, well, why is it? It just doesn't show up in any of the reports that I'm looking at. Doesn't mean it's not, but it's just not. I'm one human being. I can only stare at so much data, and you would have to believe I stare at a lot of data. And it just sometimes just doesn't come across all the things that I'm looking at. So, but yeah, BCH doesn't ever show up in any of the interesting data. Travis Hutchinson, do you think 70% crash after top? Absolutely. Absolutely. It always does, right? And altcoins historically, on average, like 90%. Julian Robbins, bro, do you still think XRP is going to $36? Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Excuse me? Do you still think it's going to $36? Thank you, brother. Michelle Wilson. I have a mentor that puts a lot of weight on the Bitcoin MACD crossover on the weekly time frame as a signal of crashing or getting ready to run. Do you put a lot of weight on that indicator as well? Here's the problem we've got with Bitcoin on weekly time frames now. So I haven't been looking at Bitcoin weekly stuff lately, but what did we have recently? Can I get rid of all this, or do I need to keep it? I'll just hide it. Okay. We've never had Bitcoin set a new all-time high, then pull back and hit the 50-week moving average. That's the first time. And then it not be like right before the bear market started. Right? We talked about this a lot in the middle of that. So based on the rules of how Bitcoin has always operated, if you were to say, after Bitcoin sets a new all-time high, once it touches its 50-week moving average, it means it's in a bear market, right? That has been the rule of a new all-time high. When it finally comes back and it's lost enough steam and it hits the 50-week moving average, it's in a bear market. Now, that rule no longer applies. Bitcoin has set a new all-time high. It has hit the 50-week moving average and then continued marching drastically higher, right? That rule does not apply anymore. Right. So when we use any type of indicator, whether it's MACD, whether it's stochastic RSIs or relative strength indexes or moving averages, any of this stuff, we apply rules based on how a chart has behaved to the past. And not all charts are equal. Like if we look at the XRP price chart, it is not going to have these beautiful reactions to the 50-week moving average like Bitcoin has historically. It's just not. So you wouldn't apply that same type of indicator to the XRP price chart because that indicator is going to give you no signal. So you try to find signal on indicators on particular charts. This signal's had a 100% hit rate on this thing for Bitcoin throughout history. It officially does not anymore. So this time is different again. And, that's going to be the thing. So, I wouldn't be surprised. This is a hard read on Bitcoin, right? We've gone the wave of equal distance, right? It's gone to 107, right? It hit 108, right? Waves of equal distance put you at $107,800. That's what would be waves of equal distance on these things. 107.8. We hit 108.4. So we've gone the full waves of equal distance. Now, are we entering into a complex distribution structure now that waves of equal distance have been completed? Or is it just, or are we dumping? Or are we creating a new range to happen in here? I think it's very difficult to tell at this point right now. Very difficult to tell at this point. If a signal showed up, of a typical dynamic in the altcoin market where something like we talked about just earlier, you did that, and then the altcoin market was doing that during that time, well, then that probably tells you a story that this is distribution and we're probably coming to a conclusion here pretty soon. But that dynamic's not there. But it is interesting on Bitcoin in the weekly time frame that a lot of the signals that we can typically use in history no longer apply, at least when it comes to like moving averages. It has deviated away from something that had a 100% hit rate. Blockchain trucker, I know this guy. Tell us the truth. You are the crypto Illuminati. Yeah, I'm hired by the banking cartel. Designed to get your hopes up and to get you to let go of all of your XRP at $10. So it can go to $10,000 without you. Jason Everson, market caps will make all our dreams come true. Here's a beer for you. If the world has 1,000 pounds of silver, you can never have 2,000 pounds. Brother, thank you very much, Jason. And then XP Market had gifted the 10 memberships. Thank you. Oh, wow. We're way past an hour. Okay. Speedy Burns. This much time consolidating above $2 can't hurt. It is fascinating, right? We have spent 30 days in September, April, June, and November. All the rest of 31. 31 plus 8. 39 days above $2. Closing above $2. That's crazy. That's crazy. So Kush says, why are you putting fibs on total 3 from the 12th of March through August 6th and counting 4.236, not from December 6th through December of 2021? Which one do you think it will be to the mark at the top, right? So this all goes back to just the whole structure of what's happening. Let's go here. So this goes back to the discussion of everything that has happened for these last several years. And I advise you to go back and watch a video that I published on November 30th of 2023. So in that video on November 30th of 2023, I can't remember the title of the thing. And we're essentially right here, right? Right here. We've now spent, we just got done with our cruel summer, right? So we go through our cruel summer, right? We're coming out of the summer. We're up into here. And it's talking about how I could imagine the market playing out and how it could go forward. And that we would eventually end up seeing a shift back to the 702 retracement and then right back down to the preliminary support, which would be a 55% crash. We end up getting a 58% crash. And that we would ultimately end up ranging in here. And that when you create these types of structures, the measurement is actually of this range rather than the whole thing when you create this market dynamic in here. So this is the target for the whole thing in here for me. This will likely be my 65% exit. And if we do go there, I'll sell even more. But just for the whole structure of everything and how we all played out, the target is like that. And examples kind of like this, right? So here is your Wyckoff accumulation, right? Then you eventually break from the accumulation, right? Then you go back to test the preliminary support. And then of that range, go for extension of the range, right? It's not based on this range. It's based on that one. I can't remember the examples that I've used in other videos as well, but I've shown that on several examples. But that's how you get there. That one. Right. The closer we get to it, the more angry people will be about it. Because everybody has their own kind of, and this isn't a stab at anybody. This is just psychology of markets, right? We fantasize, we create futures in our mind of how much we're going to end up getting, and when it's all said and done. And then when somebody says, this is the top, and if somebody has, $1,000 or something like that, and in their mind they envisioned they would get $10,000, right? They envisioned they would get 10,000, but they only have 1,000 here, and you're telling them that's top. You've essentially just told them that they've experienced a 90% crash and that they're going to lose all of that too. And so there's a psychological attack that happens when you tell them this dream has died and that one's going to die too. And so just, you got to, do your own charting, have your own plan. Don't just listen to a YouTuber. But I tried to broadcast this from a mile away. $10 area for XRP is like, by then I'm 65% out. I have said that for years. I will continue to say that. That'll be it. But when, the closer we get to it, I am now part of an Illuminati bankers club here designed to get you to sell your XRP. Right? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just going to happen. So, but yeah, that's how you would do that. It's having, and it's why like the market was so wrong-footed here at the retracement levels. They thought we were in expansion because they thought it was this, right? That it was this style thing, but it's not. It's not. All right, and again, like this market's different. Remember that it's going to play different than people think, and 4-year cycles, no question. People will say the 4-year cycle goes to November or December, right? But we all know the technical top was April and May of 2021, not November. So, Captain Crypto Morgan, I've been watching since 2019. Please put in an Elliott wave on this last move, sir. I don't know which move. On this last move. See, I don't know if you mean this move or if you mean this whole move. I'm not sure what you mean. But I appreciate you watching since 2019. You're one of the first, 5,000. TTC. Thank you for everything for the past 4 years. I've been following you. Do you see much difference in the data from your YouTube or X views, et cetera, from the recent 290 to 230? No, there's no real change. One thing I was looking at, let me see, do I still have this open? Please have it open. No. You want to know how the bull run in XRP is real? Let's see. I see people posted online. We're going to have the C19 crash, right? Let's see. Here's how you know this is real. There's the Google Trend search volume for XRP. There's the peak of the 2017 bull market. There's the peak of the 2021 bull market. There's the XRP is declared not a security. Here's C19. When we're in here is, sorry, I didn't mean C19, like SEC crash, right? Here's pre-SEC. Right. So that kind of gives you an idea on that's a little something. No, but things have stabilized. Like there's not, we've been in a month-long range. People lose interest, and it doesn't make as many headlines. Are we still seeing elevated figures? Definitely. Just even the fact that we have 3,600 people here in markets in the morning, when we've been flatlined for a month and a half is higher, right? For those who've been around a long time. Typically when things are boring in the market, we're seeing 1,800 to 2,400 concurrent viewers. We just have elevated figures, but nothing insane right now, right? Like this isn't a number that makes you scared. Kashav says, hey, BCB, what happens if your thesis if XRP hits $9 much before the cycle top signals are here, such as Bitcoin is not retraced yet, dominance is not bottom yet, etc.? Yeah, so that it's still nothing's going to change. It's still going to be a 65% exit. But here's why there's a challenge on that is because we can go back and review all the peaks for XRP and when they happened to know that it doesn't necessarily have to be that for XRP. For example, I just don't want to mess up my charts in here, but here's the peak of XRP in this entire move right here. This happens on May 17th. do you get that confluence from Bitcoin at that time? Look where Bitcoin is at this time. Here's XRP, there's the peak. Do you have confluence from Bitcoin at that time? Or did you just hit a rally prior to capitulation, right? Extension. So you didn't have it. You don't have that confluence of it right here, right? Also, in 2021, while 90% of the altcoin market topped into Bitcoin's retrace, which was right here on May 8th when Elon Musk goes on Saturday Night Live, XRP actually topped at the peak of Bitcoin. So at a different spot. So XRP in particular only has one peak that perfectly times with a retracement on Bitcoin, and that was 2017. 2018, January 5th. So it's going to have to be a shot in the dark that the technical level matters. And it just doesn't matter to me, right? So like there's going to be so many people that come into the market, and if they think there's a 60% upside to it, they're going to say, you're getting out so early. Ha, what a dummy. You're getting out too early. You have to understand so much of my bag is riding from, I think the lowest buy in this bag is when I was camping, which I was already doing YouTube videos at this time. I started my YouTube channel right in here somewhere. I'm camping, and I'm with my daughter, and I have to call my wife from the campsite and say, I need you to log in, and I need you to buy. And she bought. She did not get 11 cents, which that tested our marriage big time. She got 13. But then, go through everything after that, right? What do? We go through the 17.5 cent stuff. We go through the 22.5 cent stuff. We go through the SEC lawsuit, right? The percentages are so massive here. It's a de-risking situation for me. And we're at a technical level. I'm not willing to have 90% of my wealth tied into one asset, right? I already have a lot of it tied into a lot tied into one asset, but I'm not going to go to 90%. It's just not going to happen. We're at a place where I'm taking it off the table. Yeah, Desert Box has grounds for divorce. We went to therapy, everything. Counselor said I was right. Okay. Maddie. TI Guy, Camera Post says, this is Bitcoin today. Break and retest and heavy selling back through 50 MA after a big run like this. 90% plus hit rate for calling a top. Who has a 90% hit rate for calling a top? A self-proclaimed person? I personally think Bitcoin's in a complex distribution. Or complex distribution. And it could last a while. Brave Sigma says, I'm 100% in XRP. Ugh. Just hard. Part of it is like mental, just saying mentally stable. YGG Drazel says, what's your opinion on XRP? I know you probably hear this a lot. I have a lot of videos out about it. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say. I probably watch some of my videos. I give some opinions in there. So, all right, guys, I don't know what I'm still doing here. It's been 1 hour and 23 minutes. Let's get the frog going. Boom.
It is Wednesday, my It is Wednesday. Dudes.
All right. All right. Ladies, maybe one lady. There's probably like one lady. Ladies and all the gentlemen watching the channel. I'm just kidding. 5% of my audience is ladies, but it is 95% male. Gentlemen. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. I'm obviously watching this like a hawk, awaiting something to show up here on the chart. I think we're insanely close, very undifferentiated on if it's going to get that last dip. But I think we're really, really, really close. Fingers crossed that we have something exciting to talk about in video tomorrow and Thursday or on Friday. And, you know, maybe we'll close it out with this thing. I don't know. Anyway, check out the newsletter, blockchainbacker.substack.com. There's a link in the description of the video. Check out bcbacker.com, link in the description of the video. And we'll wrap this thing up with Mr. Trump, Brad Garlinghouse, and Stuart Alderati as we get ready for our range to come to a conclusion. Guys, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here, being a part of Markets in the Morning, being a part of the channel and the journey we've all been on. And hopefully there's still more to come and more excitement to come. But I'm wrapping it up. Thank you all so much for watching. If you could, please hit the like button. How do I do this? I don't even remember. I know my outro. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.